what Kody needed and what he wanted and what the family needed and wanted. I was probably more fixated on that man than,
I didn't love you. The words cut like glass, echoing through the chaos. But everyone watching knew it wasn't the truth. It was a cover, a smokescreen. An apology came next, hollow yet desperate, wrapped in contradictions. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. Those words were supposed to end the story. Instead, they cracked the sister wives' world wide open. Behind the cameras, a storm was brewing. The people running sister wives were in full-blown panic, and the evidence was hiding in plain sight. Fans logging into HBO Max this week were stunned. Entire episodes from season 20 had mysteriously vanished. Not delayed, not suffering from technical errors. Gone. Wiped clean as if someone had smashed the delete button and pretended those chapters never existed. The shock didn't stop there. TLC's own streaming service showed the same bizarre disappearance. Loyal viewers scrolling through the season saw episodes jump straight from 3 to 7, with episodes 4, 5, and 6 erased from existence. And the most chilling part? No explanation, no announcement, just silence from the network that had built its empire on this family's dysfunction. But what really set fans on fire was which episodes were missing. These weren't filler shows. They weren't boring recap specials. According to social media sleuths, the episodes pulled were the very ones packed with explosive confrontations and behind-the-scenes drama, the episodes everyone had been waiting for. On Reddit, one fan who managed to watch episode 5 before it vanished called it the best Sister Wives episode in years, describing it as raw, unedited, and brutally real. No polish, no fakery, just the Brown family imploding in ways that couldn't be staged. I would love healing with Meri. I would love healing with Janelle. I would love healing with Christine. Those words had been spoken with tears, but then came the dagger. I don't want to talk to Kody ever again. It was the kind of reality moment that makes a network rich, and the kind of confession that could destroy reputations forever. And then the impossible happened. Those same episodes disappeared. In reality television, that only means one thing. Something monumental went down behind the scenes. Shows do not yank episodes post-airing unless executives are in crisis mode and lawyers are circling. If content gets erased after millions have already watched, you know something explosive has detonated behind the cameras. And this isn't just any show, it's Sister Wives, TLC's crown jewel for over a decade. The fanbase reacted instantly. Social media turned into a full-blown investigation lab. Screenshots of missing episode lists spread like wildfire. Fans built spreadsheets to track the timeline of the removals, and theories piled up. Reddit dubbed it the Great Episode Removal of 2024, and it only fueled more suspicion. And then came the whispers from production insiders. They claimed this wasn't a glitch, not an innocent technical hiccup. This was crisis management at the highest level, executives running in circles, scrambling for damage control, and even reports of cast members refusing to participate in crucial refilming. The content pulled wasn't just embarrassing. According to insiders, it was so damning, so dangerous, that erasing it from history was the only option left. Episode 5, some clever fans claim to have recorded, allegedly showed Janelle spreading actual financial documents across a kitchen table. Real paperwork, real numbers, no fake setups. She pressed Kody for answers about the family's missing money, questions he couldn't brush off with charm or excuses. Episode 6 viewers swore, had Meri opening up to Christine like never before, spilling dark truths about how money flowed in and out of the family and who truly held the reins. Years of secrets unspoken in public finally exposed. But perhaps the most shocking of all was episode 4. Leaked descriptions said it revealed production meetings, raw behind-the-scenes footage showing cast members being coached by producers. You could allegedly hear staff feeding them talking points, dictating emotional reactions. For a show that's always marketed itself as real life, it was like pulling back the curtain on a magic trick and exposing the wires. The streaming services didn't just remove the episodes. They rewired the entire season. Later episodes were renumbered, synopses rewritten, the gaps disguised to make it look seamless. That kind of re-editing takes money, lawyers, and senior executive signatures. Networks don't spend that kind of effort unless they're covering up something that could nuke the entire series. Meanwhile, HBO Max users flooded customer support, only to be met with vague replies about technical issues and normal content rotation. But longtime viewers weren't fooled. This wasn't routine maintenance. This was emergency cleanup at lightning speed. Someone high up had made a very expensive decision to protect something far bigger than a single storyline. And then came the smoking gun. TLC stayed dead silent. Not a word about the vanished content, even as fans spammed their official pages demanding answers. That silence wasn't just suspicious, it was strategic. The kind of silence that screams legal war zone. While viewers were busy playing detective, the production crew was reportedly pulled into crisis mode. Sources claimed editors were working around the clock to create redemption footage designed to patch the holes. Imagine the chaos. Crews scrambling to dig up equipment, rebuild sets, and beg cast members who had already walked away from filming to return. One insider compared it to rebuilding a house while it's on fire. But the most jaw-dropping detail? These weren't simple reshoots. They were complete rewrites of reality itself. Replacement scenes meant to tell sanitized versions of the same events. Gone were the raw confrontations, the financial exposés, the betrayals caught on tape. In their place, carefully staged conversations, tightly controlled by producers to paint a more palatable picture of the Brown family. The technical nightmare alone was staggering. Crews had to recreate lighting setups from months ago, match clothing wardrobes that no longer existed, even fake seasonal backdrops to splice the footage into old episodes. Some new conversations had to be filmed in totally different locations because the originals were no longer available. It wasn't reality anymore. It was a cover-up disguised as a show. It was a cover-up disguised as a show. People who live and breathe reality television know one thing. After-the-fact intervention on this scale is almost unheard of, and when it does happen, it's brutally expensive. Normally, reality shows plan ahead, shooting hours of extra footage specifically to avoid this kind of emergency. If producers are forced to essentially rebuild episodes after a season has already aired, it means whatever made it into the original cut was so dangerous, so scandalous, that leaving it on screen could have burned the entire empire to the ground. Crew members caught in the middle of this fiasco weren't just battling logistics. They were under suffocating pressure to deliver replacement content that kept the storyline moving, but surgically erased the very subjects that had blown the family drama wide open. It was like trying to tell a novel where whole chapters had been ripped out, yet pretending the story still made sense. And then came the breaking point. The cast fought back. According to Reddit leaks stitched together from multiple insiders, both Janelle and Meri drew hard lines in the sand. This wasn't about scheduling headaches or a few long days of filming. This was about producers asking them to essentially rewrite their own lives, to lie on camera, to undo conversations, to pretend explosive revelations had never happened. Janelle, whose post-Kody reputation rests on her no-nonsense honesty about finances, flat out refused. One alleged exchange had her telling producers, "I'm not going to act like those numbers don't exist just to make the family look friendlier." Meri's resistance was even more dramatic. After years of carefully clawing back her independence and reshaping her public image, she reportedly told producers she would walk away from the show entirely before she let them twist her into looking obedient, submissive, or clueless about the family's business. Her ultimatum wasn't just about one scene. It was about holding on to the authentic voice she had finally found after years of silence. The fallout was immediate. When two of your central cast members refuse to play ball, you can't just edit them out. The entire Sister Wives story structure depends on all the adult family members being present in those pivotal financial and emotional confrontations. Without them, the narrative collapses. One industry source described the scramble as trying to rebuild a puzzle when two of the biggest pieces have refused to fit into the picture you're forcing them into. What leaked next revealed the fight was bigger than just cast members versus producers. Insiders claimed a full-scale creative war was underway between the show's director and TLC's top executives. At the core of the battle? The authenticity question. The pulled episodes reportedly contained the kind of raw, unfiltered interactions that made Sister Wives legendary in its early years. Real fights, real financial struggles, real pain. But network executives, obsessed with protecting a carefully polished family brand, allegedly decided that footage was too legally risky, too messy, too damaging to the Brown legacy they've spent over a decade marketing. The director, however, was said to be pushing in the opposite direction, fighting to preserve a documentary style that captured the Browns as they really are, not as executives wished them to appear. When calls from the network went unanswered, sources claimed it wasn't a scheduling slip. It was the director flatly refusing to participate in what they called narrative sanitization. With the director and executives pulling in opposite directions, the crew didn't know who to obey. Cast members were rebelling. Editors were trying to patch holes without being given a clear story arc. The production machine ground to a halt, no matter how much money executives threw at the problem. And here's the kicker. This battle isn't just about one show. It reflects a deeper shift in the entire reality TV industry. Audiences, especially women over 45, Sister Wives' core fan base, are more media savvy than ever. They can spot manufactured drama from a mile away and they're rejecting it. They crave authenticity, real financial disputes, real heartbreak, real growth. Ironically, the very content TLC tried to erase may have been exactly what fans wanted most. What started as a fight over a handful of episodes has morphed into a creative civil war that could determine the future of Sister Wives itself. The missing episodes and emergency reshoots aren't random production hiccups. They're symptoms of a show tearing itself apart from the inside, caught between raw truth and corporate control. And the fallout isn't just creative. The production chaos has already snowballed into a financial nightmare that goes far beyond any standard reality TV budget. Multiple insiders confirm that Sister Wives Season 20's budget didn't just rise, it exploded. Mid-production, TLC executives were forced to double the entire budget in a desperate attempt to cover spiraling costs. Over time, last-minute reshoots and emergency filming sessions consumed money faster than the show had ever seen before. For a franchise that had always operated on the tight economics of reality television, this level of unplanned spending was nothing short of reckless, a financial gamble of epic proportions. The overtime cost alone could make executives sweat. Crew members who thought their contracts were finished suddenly found themselves yanked back into service, now billed at premium emergency rates. Lighting crews, camera operators, sound engineers, and post-production teams were pulled back in at double pay, with union rules forcing even higher compensation for last-minute schedules. An industry analyst familiar with reality TV budgets estimated that these unexpected crew expenses alone could account for a 40–50% spike in production, costs before other headaches even entered the equation. And the headaches didn't stop. The original filming locations, the kitchens, living rooms, and backyards where the most explosive scenes were captured, were suddenly off limits. Some were no longer available. Others were deemed legally or reputationally too dangerous to reuse. That forced the production team to scramble. They had to scout and secure brand new venues, apply for fresh permits, haul equipment across states, and juggle cast members' packed schedules. Each location came with fresh insurance, new security protocols, and entire technical setups, all of which pushed the budget further into the red. Post-production quickly turned into a nightmare of its own. Editors were tasked with the nearly impossible, splicing in new footage with old episodes that had already been aired. Every second of replacement content had to look seamless, as though it had always belonged. That meant color correction, audio balancing, lighting adjustments, and painstaking continuity editing. What should have been basic reality TV patchwork turned into a Hollywood-level operation requiring blockbuster precision. The smallest mismatch, a shirt, a shadow, a sentence, could expose the entire cover-up. Executives greenlit the ballooning expenses because the alternative was unthinkable. Leaving the original explosive footage available risked lawsuits, advertiser pullouts, and long-term damage to TLC's most valuable reality franchise. Industry insiders say network leaders decided it was better to spend millions in damage control than to let a decade-long empire collapse overnight. But this created an equally terrifying problem. Season 20 now has to perform like a blockbuster movie. Anything short of massive ratings could make all of that money look like it was thrown into a fire pit. The financial bleeding spread beyond Sister Wives too. Other TLC shows suddenly found their budgets slashed, equipment rerouted, and crews unavailable, all because Sister Wives was hogging double its usual resources. Production schedules across the network had to be shuffled, creating resentment and whispers in the hallways about why the Brown family's chaos deserved this kind of preferential treatment. But the deeper scandal is what this fiasco revealed about reality TV itself. For fans who thought they were watching raw, unfiltered family life, the truth is devastating. The manipulation goes far beyond clever editing. The emergency reshoots and missing episodes laid bare the machinery of control operating behind the scenes. Think about the tactics. First, the selective editing and narrative reconstruction mirrors classic manipulation strategies, burying inconvenient truths, reframing events, and rewriting history to make the guilty look innocent. In real life, that's damage control disguised as clarification. On screen, it's the same thing, reality TV gaslighting. Second, the pressure on Janelle and Meri to participate in replacement scenes that directly contradicted their lived experiences is the clearest sign of emotional manipulation. Imagine being told to pretend your truth never happened, to smile and repeat a script while the real story gets buried. It's the textbook definition of gaslighting, and fans recognized it instantly. Janelle and Meri's refusal wasn't just about stubbornness. It was about setting boundaries in the face of systemic manipulation. Finally, the insistence on redemption footage and damage control scenes exposes the greatest lie of all, that what viewers see is a documentary. In reality, every financial discussion, every heated family meeting, every emotional breakdown is filtered through the hands of producers and executives. What you thought was raw authenticity was instead carefully constructed entertainment engineered to protect the network's brand. And here's the gut punch. Fans see the same patterns in their own lives. Women juggling household finances, fighting to expose hidden debts, or standing up to gaslighting partners recognized every red flag flashing in Season 20's Crisis. The Sister Wives cover-up is bigger than television. It's a mirror. And that's why the revelations sting so deeply. The tactics used to manufacture reality TV drama, selective information sharing, pressuring casts to accept revised versions of events, financial control disguised as family leadership, are disturbingly identical to the tactics used in toxic manipulative relationships. What the Sister Wives production Crisis has accidentally done is pull the curtain back on this playbook, giving viewers a front-row education in media manipulation that extends far beyond television. Industry veterans point out that most audiences never see this level of tampering. Smoothly run shows don't need emergency reshoots, cover-ups, or content erasures. But Sister Wives has become a crash course in narrative control, and the fallout has transformed the fan base into something far more powerful than a viewership. The community has evolved into a digital detective agency, and their investigation would make professional reporters jealous. On Reddit, discussion threads have become massive research archives. Fans are piecing together inconsistencies, cross-referencing cast members' social media with filming dates, and even building spreadsheets to map which episodes vanished and when. These aren't casual viewers anymore. These are seasoned observers who've tracked the Brown family for years and instantly recognize when a storyline doesn't add up. One particularly sharp Reddit thread uncovered that the pulled episodes weren't random at all. By comparing descriptions with behind-the-scenes social activity, users identified a clear pattern. The missing content centered specifically on unscripted financial discussions and raw family confrontations, the very material TLC would have the most to lose by airing. On Facebook, dedicated fan groups are pooling resources, sharing recordings and screenshots salvaged before the deletions. Together, they've managed to reconstruct the puzzle TLC hoped would stay broken. These groups aren't gossip boards anymore. They're functioning as genuine investigative networks, cross-analyzing timelines and exposing cast storylines that reveal heavy-handed producer interference. Longtime viewers, those who've followed Sister Wives since its earliest days, have been the quickest to spot the difference. They know exactly what authentic interaction looks like, and they can tell when conversations feel scripted, edited, or staged. The pulled episodes, they argue, contained the raw truth. And the difference between those moments and the cleaner, manufactured replacements is glaring. And here's the twist. Fan theories about what really happened, budget chaos, cast rebellion, director-executive clashes, have all been largely confirmed by later industry leaks. The Sister Wives community, working collectively, has provided better investigative coverage than most entertainment media outlets. And their scrutiny has expanded. They've begun comparing TLC's tactics to other shows across the network, documenting a pattern of content manipulation that stretches far beyond the Brown family. In truth, the Sister Wives meltdown is just the most visible crack in a much larger wall. Reality television as a whole is hitting a breaking point. Across networks, audiences are rejecting manufactured drama and demanding authenticity. Long-running series built on genuine family growth and personal stories are clashing with executives who want sanitized, legally safe content. Directors are siding with authenticity, while networks cling to control. Cast members with large personal platforms are pushing back harder than ever. The exact battle raging behind Sister Wives is happening across the industry. What makes Sister Wives different is the financial scale of the gamble. By doubling budgets and pouring money into narrative manipulation instead of addressing the authenticity problem, TLC is betting that audiences will keep accepting manufactured drama. But the data suggests otherwise. especially among women over 45, the core demographic for this franchise. These viewers can spot fakery instantly, and they want the messy, unfiltered truth. The emergency reshoots and missing episodes have revealed reality TV's secret. This isn't documentary storytelling anymore. It's scripted narrative management. Cast members aren't just sharing their lives. They're being asked to perform alternate versions of their lives, versions polished for advertisers and executive comfort. Authentic conversations get scrapped. Producer-approved dialogue gets slotted in. And family dynamics are reframed as marketable drama instead of lived reality. Other franchises have faced similar authenticity crises. The ones that survived did so by loosening their grip, giving cast members more say and leaning back into organic storytelling. The ones that doubled down on producer control? They crumbled. Sister Wives is now at this exact crossroads, and the stakes are higher than ever. The crisis has also created an industry-wide case study. What happens when a reality show's cast grows too powerful, too independent, too authentic for the manipulation machine to contain? Janelle, Meri, and potentially others aren't just reality TV characters anymore. They're entrepreneurs, public figures, and women with direct relationships with millions of fans. They cannot be forced into scripted molds without exposing the entire charade. So here we stand, watching a reality TV empire crack under the weight of its own manipulation. And the implications ripple far beyond. TLC. This moment has created an accidental transparency event that could change how reality television operates moving forward, especially for shows built on mature women who refuse to surrender their authentic voices. Now the question is brutal and simple. Will TLC continue burning millions on damage control, or will they accept that their audience has outgrown manufactured drama? The bleeding budgets aren't sustainable. The cast rebellion is real. And the fans? They're more united, more watchful, and more powerful than ever before. For viewers, especially women who've spent years watching the Browns and learning to spot manipulation, this crisis is more than entertainment. It's a masterclass in media literacy. The same skills used to decode reality TV, spotting revised storylines, questioning motives, identifying financial pressure tactics, are the very skills needed to survive manipulation in real life. The Sister Wives community has proven that when audiences work together, they can hold networks accountable. By reverse engineering timelines, documenting missing content, and sharing evidence across platforms, they've shattered the illusion that networks control the story. That control is slipping, and it's costing millions. Legal experts warn this saga could even trigger new industry regulations about cast rights, authenticity disclosures, and contract transparency. If lawsuits or rulings follow, the Sister Wives crisis may reshape reality TV for every network, not just TLC. So what comes next? Will TLC adapt and embrace authenticity? Or will they keep throwing money at cover-ups until the machine collapses? Are we watching the birth of a new era in reality TV, or the slow-motion implosion of one of its biggest empires? And maybe the most personal question for fans, whose defiance inspires you most? Janelle, who refused to erase financial truths, or Meri, who staked her future on protecting her authentic voice? Tap like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because if the last few months have proven anything, it's this. The next round of revelations is coming, and it's going to be even bigger, even messier, and even more explosive than what we've already seen.